It's two dudes with attitudes, a pro wrestling podcast, and it is our WWE edition where we're going to cover all things SmackDown, Raw, NXT, and it's prediction time because we're going to talk the 5 matches at Backlash. Ryan, are you ready?
I am, man. Are you sure this isn't a How I Met Your Mother podcast or a Big Brother podcast or a Survivor podcast or anything else
It's
besides wrestling on a wrestling channel?
Actually, I was going to trick everybody and say I really wanted to talk about the first season of Dexter, but let's get this podcast going. Let's go.
Now that everyone's tuned out.
Two dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the two dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E. The two dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on, time to lock in. Listen to the podcast where they get it poppin'.
So the thing that I loved most about Dexter season 1 is that he wasn't really like humanized at the point. So just kidding. Let's get this party started, y'all.
The main guy in Dexter is a Carolina boy. He's from Raleigh. So yeah. Yeah, and I think the girl on the show was from there too. I think they were married, but
they were brother sister, but they were married in real life. It was funny.
Yeah.
Actually, I love him from 6 Feet Under. I don't know if you ever saw HBO 6 Feet Under. That show was a freaking sleeper. Great show. By the way, speaking of, if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, I recommend to go see it right now. Run to the damn theaters and go see it. It's the best Marvel movie since Avengers Endgame. It is phenomenal, and so is Sinners. If you haven't seen Sinners, that movie is creepy and good. And ladies, if you like Michael B. Jordan, there's 2 of him in that movie. So
nice.
Double your pleasure, double your fun. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start with some SmackDown. And it was actually a pretty good, long 3-hour episode of SmackDown. Sometimes they bore us. They get a little too long and I get sleepy, but this one was actually pretty good. So good that I forgot I didn't finish it. So I was watching it live and ended it up, but let's start with the return. We had one, Aleister Black return. He had a match with The Miz. What did you think of it? Lackluster, good, excited, poor Miz? What's your opinions?
I think we talked about this offline last week before we did our WWE episode last week, which was we filmed in the middle of SmackDown last week. But that's why you didn't finish it.
There you go. I was wondering. Got it.
Yeah. But I think we both talked about how anytime you're in the when you start your feud with The Miz, your career's automatically done. As much as we like The Miz and as great as The Miz is in the ring, it's just like that moment could have been a huge thing for Aleister Black if it was anybody else. Imagine if he had done that to Cody Rhodes, who's not currently doing anything right now, or if he had done something like that to anyone, it would have gone over well. But because it's The Miz, now I'm worried he's going to be in purgatory. And that's not a dig on The Miz, but I'm looking at Carmelo Hayes right now. I'm looking at Dexter Lumis in the past when he started off and he came on and he was stalking The Miz, and then The Miz paid him, and then he just kind of fell off. There's been so many other people that has started a program with The Miz and only to go absolutely nowhere. R-Truth is another one.
I was about to say, even a Hall of Famer, R-Truth. And Miz is a first ballot Hall of Famer, so it's not like you're dogging him. It ain't his fault. It's just how they're booked.
Yeah. And I get it's a good way to get heat on The Miz and give Aleister Black the big pop and everything. But I don't know, when he came out against The Miz and he had in his debut when he returned to take him out, and then he had the match this week against The Miz, I really hope that this is a one and done thing and that he moves on and we actually get a story with Aleister Black, because I think that's the one thing he's missing is he's got a great entrance, he's got a great song, but now he needs like a story. We need a reason to care. We need a reason to get behind him. What is his character? Is he the guy that's knocking down doors and knocking on doors like he was before? Is he the same character? Is he bringing over the House of Black stuff that he was doing in AEW? Like, what is he doing? So the match was fine. It was cool to see him, and I'm happy that he's back in WWE. And hopefully he moves on from The Miz pretty quickly. Don't drag this out any further than it needs to, and we're able to move on to bigger and better things for Aleister Black.
I mean, shoot, even Rusev, who was in a pointless match against Otis, at least had a moment of putting him to sleep afterwards and like at least had something afterwards. I mean, Aleister Black's return just kind of felt meh. Like I'm literally not going to be shocked that he's like the newest member of the Wyatt Six, and that's what they're going to do with them because they were on they supposedly on SmackDown or something like, and just waste him away. And it boggles my mind because I never know, like, Black didn't work in WWE, so he left and went to AEW, and he didn't work in AEW. And now he's back in WWE, and now he's with the Miz, and I'm like, shit, does this guy just like not work? Like
that was the rumor.
But the thing is that he is good promos. His look, is there any better look? The dude's chiseled, the tattoos covering the chiseledness is like makes him just look like a scary dude. I don't like the fake eyeball thing, but other than that, like he is that guy. He has great matches. He's a great finisher. That finisher looks vicious. It looks real. It's just he's so good. Why doesn't it work? You know, is it the dark eerie thing? Like the Wyatts don't ever work because they just don't know what to do with it in WWE. I mean, it's not like Papa Shango was like a humongous star of the Boogeyman. They were a attraction, but they didn't blow. I don't know. So I'm hoping for I still think Aleister Black needs to go to Judgment Day, and we'll talk about Judgment Day because Finn Balor had a talk with an old foe. So maybe, you know, Black and Finn are old foes. Maybe we can do something like that. But, you know, that would mean Judgment Day would have to go to SmackDown, but anything is possible. So, but they need to do something with him and pair him up with his wife, for crying out loud. I don't care. Just do something with him. Do something.
Yeah, they need something, and he needs a story. We need a reason to care. We need a character. Because I think you might be onto something, man. Like there's a reason that Edge wanted out of the Judgment Day was because he didn't want to do all the supernatural stuff with the Judgment Day when he first started it, and so they kicked him out like 2 weeks later because that was a Vince McMahon decision. And it turns out Edge made the right call because, you know, they ended up never doing supernatural stuff, and I think that would have been stupid. And now you have look at the Wyatt Six, and they went away from the supernatural, but they're going back to the supernatural, and now they're not doing anything. And now, you know, Aleister Black right now, his return's kind of meh, and it's probably because maybe they want him to be supernatural, and so they need to figure it out. Long story short,
I fully agree. Something they figured out though is one Jacob Fatu.
Yes, sir.
I want to hear your opinion on it, but basically, long story short, it's okay when it's in a 4-way. He's going to wrestle LA Knight, Priest, and McIntyre at Backlash in a 4-way for his U.S. Championship, and all because of Solo. Solo opened up his mouth, cost him, and even won. He was called out for it too, basically saying like, "It's your fault, Solo, not mine. Don't blame me. That's on you." What did you think? What do you think of Fatu in this match? And, you know, obviously we'll get into predictions, but it was a good night for Fatu in a way.
Yeah, no, that guy's the real deal. I mean, he needs to hold on to this U.S. title for as long as he can. He needs to defend it against anybody. And he's so good he's just so natural. Like, I feel like, he yells a lot, but I feel like that's just who he is. And, you know, his all brakes, no gas is a perfect way to describe him. He is, or all gas, no brakes rather, but it's the perfect way to describe him because that's what he is. I mean, he moves fluidly in the ring. He takes everybody out. He makes it look easy. He's fantastic on the mic. Like, the guy's the real deal. And I'm happy he's U.S. champion. I hate the fact that LA Knight and Damian Priest both lost at WrestleMania, so they get rewarded with title shots at the very next pay-per-view. But we're going to add Drew McIntyre in, who technically was the number one contender, who technically beat Damian Priest, he was the only other one besides Jacob who won at WrestleMania. But Nick Aldis was like, "Yeah, well, good idea, Solo. Let's add Drew McIntyre." I'm like, "Wait, what? Huh?" But he should have already been in it. But I'm excited about this match. I think it's going to be great, and I think Jacob, you know, he's, like we've said before, he's going to main event WrestleMania 42. It's just a matter of who he faces because he's on that trajectory for sure.
Oh, him versus Braun Breaker, main eventing night 1, the end for the title. I'm saying it now. If they don't, then Triple H needs to get his head checked. My thing, you're right? They got there wrong, right? They should have said it's Drew McIntyre and LA Knight or something, or Drew McIntyre and Priest, or I don't know. And then, or Drew McIntyre and LA Knight. And then he could have been like, well, what about Priest? Like, it should be him versus Priest. I don't care about the number one contender. Like, he like jumped us or cost us. He needs to get revenge. And then he should have said, yes, then Priest is added in. You can't add in somebody who literally won the match to earn the number one contendership. And then they like, and he wasn't even on too. And they're like, and you can have the night off too. It was just like a really weird way to get there. My only fear, and I know we have predictions soon, is that they're getting to Solo and Fatu. I just hope they don't get there because Solo cost him the title. I think Fatu as the champion right now, all the way up until a little bit past SummerSlam or to the Rumble when he can win the world title. He needs to keep that belt for a while. You're right. The thing that I love most about Fatu is that when you got those dogs, right? And you know what I mean? Like the Braun Breakers and everything else, they're usually just good because they're that dog. They got that aggression. They kill people. They beat you down. So you like them. But Fatu is the total damn package. Like, I'm not taking away from Braun's promo skills and so on, but dude, Fatu cuts promos almost as good as anybody. He's not cutting a CM Punk or Cody Rhodes type of promo or Cena, but he cuts promos. I think
he could hang with them if they try.
100%. Yeah. He's just different at them, but they are so damn good. This guy's the future, man. So yeah, he needs to keep that title and continue to win. Speaking of a legend and someone who's great at promos, Randy Orton cut a promo. I thought it was the best work they have done with, Cena wasn't there, and I thought it was really good, but I liked everything that Randy Orton said. I love that he brought up the fact that he's kind of called out TKO on, although he blamed it on Cena with high merch sales, that now you have to get a second mortgage to buy all the merch. I love that he's, just everything about it. He's always been a heel. He's always been selfish. The sad part is it's all true. This is like who John Cena is, although I do think John Cena is a good human just from his Make-A-Wish alone. But nonetheless, I mean, it was very real stuff. It was let me know if you think it. It was a very John Cena-esque promo where it was very finding the actual flaws and letting the world know about them, which is something I've never dug. But for whatever reason, I dug it when it was Randy saying it about John. The sad part is that, we'll get into predictions and it's all going to be for none, but it was still good. And it got me excited more so than it was them going back and forth. And it was about not being a dad and so on, which was stupid.
Yeah. And he briefly mentioned that in the promo, but he flipped the script and, he turned it into, this was, like you said, one of the best Randy Orton promos I've heard in a long time. I wasn't excited about this match coming into this promo, and then after hearing this, I'm way more excited about it. And John Cena wasn't even there. And Randy Orton's not really known for his promo ability. He's usually known for being ruthless in the ring and the RKO and the punt, and just being that vicious heel character. And so this promo, the fact I feel like he's carrying this feud right now, and
for sure,
he has made me excited for this match on Saturday, and I can't wait for it. But it also reminded me of you're right, it did remind me of a John Cena type promo, but it also reminded me that he of the Legend Killer gimmick that he had, that he kind of felt like he was going back to that, but he cut similar promos to that when he was the Legend Killer. Like I remember a promo against the Undertaker, he was saying a lot of the same things, and so it feels like maybe we're going to get a flashback or a throwback on Saturday. Maybe he comes out to his old music and he is the Legend Killer and he's going to kill John Cena once and for all. So I'm all for it, man. I want to see it.
It's just weird that you are a legend, but you can't really be a legend killer if you're a legend. But I guess you can. True. I mean, the fun thing about it was that he was a young gun killing legends
at the time,
but booting people. Yeah. And then something that I was very intrigued about was the attention of the women's championship with Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Nia Jax. It feels fresh. The women feel important. What say you? What'd you like about it or love about it? Did you like the match, the tag team match? It just all felt really, really good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, I like that they're kind of teasing with, Jade Cargill holding the title, and then Naomi held the title as well. But they're also, Naomi and Jade are still in the middle of their feud, and then now Tiffany Stratton still feuding with Nia Jax, who I didn't like the fact that she lost on SmackDown when you're trying to build her as a championship contender and everything. And I get it, but she took a pin and everything. But I think that's the thing I like is, you talked about WrestleMania and how it was kind of a look at the young guns of WrestleMania, kind of the building blocks of the future. That's kind of how this women's division is right now. You have Tiffany Stratton. Yeah, you have Nia Jax, who's been around for a while, but Jade Cargill hasn't been around very long. Naomi has been in the industry a while, but this is only like her second full year in the WWE since she's been back from the previous time when she really was nothing on the roster under Vince. So it feels like we're getting a good glimpse of the future of the women's division and making that women's championship feel way more important than the U.S. title is currently feeling in SmackDown right now, which is unfortunate.
Oh yeah, for sure. It feels more important than the women's champion over on
100%.
Raw too. It just feels good. It feels lively. I have to say, I was very excited to see Jade Cargill. I think she's improved immensely. I think that time off from her fake injury where she's been working her craft. And it's crazy because I think that's the main difference between AEW and WWE. And it's not a knock on AEW, but WWE's, performance center, I think is like a legit, real great thing for these young talents, whether they're coming from that awful show with Bully Ray or they're coming from NXT. Just the resources that WWE has to build stars and to make them better is something that lacks in AEW, and something AEW should probably really try to look into with all that money Tony Khan has of building something like that. They have the right talent to be the coaches and to build people. You know what I mean? The Chris Jerichos and the Christian Cages. Yeah. I mean, you got people there, then the Edge, and the list goes on and on and on, that you can have people build these future stars. But I mean, look at her improvement. She was doing things in the ring I haven't normally seen. She was looking good about it. Her, her presentation. But I think after this, with Naomi holding the title up at the end and Nia Jax taking the pin, I think that pretty much means that Nia Jax will beat Jade Cargill somehow, probably with the help from Naomi, and we'll get Nia Jax versus Tiffany moving forward, and we'll get one more of Naomi and Jade Cargill moving forward. I think that's the direction they're going, but I'm all in either way. So good stuff from the women. They felt important opening the show, closing the show, or they didn't open, but they were, somewhere at the very beginning and then closing it pretty well. It's a good episode for the women.
Yeah. The one thing I did like about the match too, like you said, was the how Jade Cargill looked. I mean, she picked Nia Jax up and slammed her to the mat, which I remember she did that at the Royal Rumble when she debuted a few years ago, and it was a huge holy shit moment. And I feel like this time it wasn't as big of a moment as it should have been, but it was still a really cool moment.
Yeah, I agree. It
shows her strength. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And just her aura afterwards. She was doing moves and then standing there and just kind of brushing herself off. She just is like, she's that girl. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that tweet she did where like she's standing in the front row, standing off to the side of the ring, and everybody in the front row staring at her ass. And she says, when your intrusive thoughts are like getting to you or whatever, I was like, she even has like, she's got a personality, man. She's just, she's that girl. I love it.
Speaking of tweets, did you see Naomi's tweet?
No.
She tweeted because last week WWE did all those releases, and she went on Twitter or X and said that while my company is releasing all these people, if I was running the show, the only person I would keep them all and release Jade Cargill. And like it was a complete troll job. Like it reminded me like of Drew McIntyre's trolling of WWE.
Yeah, that's good.
She brought it too. Yeah.
That's good. I love it. All right, let's get into some Monday Night Raw, which was another jam-packed show, man. A lot of stuff happened on Raw, and I'll let you start. We had the spray tan crew going after Jey Uso this week. They had a match. We actually got the first ever world title main event on Monday Night Raw in like how many years? They said it, I forgot, but it was a really long time, and the match felt great. But what say you about the whole night? Jay, Seth, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, they were open, close, Sami Zayn in there, CM Punk in there. What say you? Let's hear it.
That match it was fun. It was a fun match, and it was a great way to close the show. But man, was it overbooked as hell? Like, oh my, I was like, who else is going to come out?
The main event? Oh yeah,
the main event between Jay and Seth Rollins and everything for the World Heavyweight title. It's just like Braun Breaker came out, and then here came Sami
he was
Zayn.
out. Yeah, he was out.
Here comes CM Punk to save the day, and all this while the referee's just watching. I'm like, you're not going to disqualify any of these people. We're not going to cancel this match. But I thought it was a good night for Seth Rollins and his group, especially the Paul Heyman promo, which at the beginning of the show with Jey Uso.
So good.
Everything about that was great. The the one thing I don't really, I mean, and Paul Heyman made it make sense in the backstage segment that didn't air on the replay of Netflix, so you had to watch it live to see it, or you can go to WWE.com to see it. But he kind of did Steiner math to Braun Breaker when he was explaining, everything that's happening. Like Jey Uso's focused on Logan Paul, Seth Rollins is only focused on Jey Uso. So we don't have 100% of Jey Uso's focus, so that way that's going to cost him the title. And he felt so. It was just he explained it a lot better than that, but in the backstage vignette. So I didn't like that. So that made it make sense. But at the time when I watched it, I was like, why are we doing this double booking thing? Like, why is he feuding with Seth Rollins right now? Where's Logan Paul? Like, I thought they were doing a Logan Paul Jey Uso match at Backlash, but I guess they're not. And then I know Logan Paul came out after the show went off the air and attacked Jey Uso, but I guess it's not happening at Backlash. I don't know. I feel like they've been all over the place, and they've been kind of starting stories and stopping stories lately with other people. So I was a little confused by that, but as far as the actual stuff that we saw, I thought it was all great. Everything from the beginning of Raw to the closing of Raw was fantastic.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And like you said, Paul's just a legend. Everything he says and bringing up Roman and the bloodline and everything he's done, how he felt betrayed and so on. Jey Uso, I mean, Jey Uso and Seth Rollins match felt good too. It was long. It felt like a main event. It felt like a PLE main event. It didn't feel like a Monday Night Raw, and I like that. I like that he defended that title. I like that they had the no contest or whatever the hell happened. So it just kind of Seth gets to keep his aura and this and that. But we have to stop with the entrance music before people come out. Like, we don't need CM Punk's music to hit when he comes out. Like, it just takes away. Everyone stops. It's just, I like the surprise attacks like Sami Zayn's did. And I know maybe you should have done a double, but just CM Punk's music hitting, him running down with the chair, and at least he didn't pose like a homeboy at WrestleMania or whatever. But
Travis Scott,
Scott, standing there for taking 5 to 6 minutes to get down to the ring while they're doing nothing. But it was overly booked, but I did like it. Pat McAfee, who I can't stand, cut a fantastic line that I told you about, basically saying that Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman were fresh back from their trip to the sun because they are so like over. And Kevin Owens did a tweet talking about tweets, basically saying, "Hey Seth, when are you gonna go get a spray tan like your boys to fit in or whatever?" But I think the talk of the town was what happened after the match was over. Jey Uso was yeeting all over the place, all over the fans, and all of a sudden he got punched, which looked like it wasn't pulled that much. It looked like a legit punch to the damn face, but basically it was Logan Paul. He punched him and ran away, and the internet was so angry because they were like, why didn't you air it, or this and that and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? It got people talking. That's Logan Paul's expertise, is that he is a streamer or whatever. So he's going to post all that stuff. That's what's fun about it being backstage. I liked it. And we're, slowly built into that Logan Paul Jey Uso match. So yeah.
Yeah. I wish they would tell us when it's going to be, because I think last week we were all under the impression that's happening at Backlash. And
I thought it was. Yeah.
I thought they said so.
Forgot.
Yeah. But then this week he's defending against Seth Rollins, and then then they did like a Backlash card thing that they showed, and they didn't show that match at all. So it was just really confusing. But I don't mind him attacking him when the show goes off the air. I think it's better, and it's a good way to get people talking for sure.
Oh, for sure. All right, get into some more things that people are talking. That's when Judgment Day and Daddy Dom and his IC title. Finn Balor this week was wearing a Dominic Mysterio shirt, promoting his boy. We had Dom's going to wrestle against Penta after Penta beat JD McDonough. So we got Daddy Dom's, not his first defense, isn't going to be AJ Styles. But then AJ Styles got into the clubhouse, called Finn Balor Prince, if you didn't catch that, calling him his old name from back in the New Japan days. And basically, Dom was like, hey, why don't you wrestle AJ? And Finn acted like he was mad, but really wasn't. They brought up Logan, Liv Morgan not being there. It's really, I like where we're going here. The fact that Daddy Dom is wrestling Penta, and it's kind of like what they're doing with the women's title and so on, where you have Daddy Dom against Penta after he wins. Now he has other competitors, right? Is it going to be AJ? Is it finally going to be Finn? Is Finn going to cost him? Or is Finn going to be jealous? Or is Finn going to lose the A? So much going on, and I dig it. And I like that we've kind of laid off, like, We don't have to talk. We know Finn's going to leave eventually or be betrayed. We don't got to bring it up every week to hint at it. Like, just continue what they're doing. And I like the subtleness more so than even him rocking the shirt. I really, really liked.
Yeah, and to me, that's a little bit of foreshadowing too, because anytime you wear somebody else's shirt, you end up betraying them. 99.9% at the time. So yeah, I liked it. This was a good week for the Judgment Day, minus JD McDonough taking yet another L to
that
Penta. I feel like
that injury did nothing.
No, they even talked about his injury on commentary. And Michael Cole at one point was like, I've gained a whole level of respect for JD McDonough for finishing what he did and enduring what he did, and yet they still just continue to have him lose. And but yeah, I thought other than that, I thought it was a solid week for the Judgment Day. I like that they all seem like a cohesive unit, even though they're kind of breaking apart, if you will. They're still torn, but they're still together. So I'm excited to see what they do next. And right now, I have no idea what they're going to do. It could be Finn that costs Dominic the IC title and they give it to Penta as soon as Backlash. It could be that Finn wants Dominic at SummerSlam, and that's what this is all leading to for the IC title. So there's so many different ways that this could go.
I mean, Finn versus Dom for the IC titles where the money's at, so they got to keep the belt on him. I don't know if you noticed too, there's this backstage or behind the scenes where Finn is talking with Roxanne Perez. I don't know if you caught that while somebody was being interviewed. So now people are speculating that maybe the new person, maybe he's trying to get Roxanne to replace Liv because Liv is out shooting movies. So
she loses all the time, so she would fit right in.
Or Roxanne, right? They're like, come on down, girl, so you can lose every match you have. But you're going to look good doing it.
We'll keep you on NXT, and you'll start losing there, too. So, congrats on the promotion.
We also would like to send you over to TNA. You want to take some more L's? We just really want you to lose a lot. Well, let's get into it. Speaking of losers, we had Pat McAfee and Gunther. They had a face-to-face where there was going to be no touching. I'll let you start. They talked. What did you think?
I love Gunther, but even he couldn't save this. He couldn't do this for me. This was not. I hated this promo with a passion. I don't know why. It was Pat McAfee though. I mean, so I know the reason why, but it was so much. It wasn't so much Gunther that made me despise it. It was really Pat McAfee, and I don't know, just the segment itself. It felt like, again, he was trying to put himself over and, talk about all the great things that he's done. And then, you want to want to disrespect Michael Cole. You're disrespecting a GOAT. That's the GOAT, and for all these years, this is a job for you. I'm passionate about this. This is what I want to do. I get hyped every time I step into a WWE arena. This is work for you. I don't know. It was just very like I'm better than you, and I know that's the goal of the promo, but it just, the way it was delivered and the way that he was saying it didn't excite me, and I was already not excited about this match at all, just because of Pat McAfee being way too over the top. But this just didn't make me excited about it anymore. So I didn't like this at all. I feel like Gunther was just, I liked his approach and his response where he was kind of laughing at him, like, okay, now I'm prepared. Now I'm ready. I'm gonna take you on, and I can't wait to do it this Saturday. I mean, it was a pretty safe response, but I liked it.
I mean, the one thing Pat McAfee did that was good was that at least he sold fear. Like when Gunther was talking, he was looking at him like, and then when he sat down too, he seemed like he was still shook. Like Michael Cole asked him a question, he didn't really answer it, and he was kind of like, "Shit, am I gonna get murdered?" So I did like that a little bit. But no, Pat McAfee, just like on his podcast, which also sucks, and his show on ESPN that now is the same thing. He just does the same stuff over and over and over and over. All he does is call Michael the GOAT. All he does is talk about whatever town he's in and what he did there one time, or what minor league Nebraska baseball team is good. And that had nothing to do with him and Gunther. Why didn't you
exactly?
What was your chance to go at Gunther?
I feel like the The Rock, when he was the People's Champion, he would do that all the time. Like, I'm at the University of Florida, and I'm here with Urban Meyer. Hey, then I go down to Alligator Alley and all these things. And
Yeah.
but at least he like finds a way to tie it back in. But he was like, here we're in the Cornhusking State, and there's the Nebraska football team over there. Woo! And then over there across the street is the College World Series. Woo! It was just like, what does that have to do with the match?
Nothing.
So
and Gunther was like, I don't know what the hell's going on. But I did think Gunther's promo was better than you're making. I thought it was.
Gunther's response was good. Yeah.
I think Gunther just shows how. No, it was just so. And then Gunther's response to him just didn't match. I think that's what threw it off, is because he was so intense. The only thing he said was that, "Oh, I'm not going to take you seriously." He's like, "No, I am going to take you seriously because basically I want to freaking destroy you. So yeah, I'm going to take you very seriously." And we'll get into predictions, but I have a lot of worries with after this promo, especially, which we can get into predictions, if it's building to a Goldberg-Gunther match, which if you had Gunther be the longest reigning IC champion, to be a world champion and with a pretty good reign, to only lose it to a Jey Uso by tapping out in 4 seconds, to go to Pat McAfee and then Goldberg, you don't believe in Gunther. So that's just my take.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Well, let's end it on a high note. We had the man, Becky Lynch, the way I like her, skinny and a heel. She always she looks good, man. This girl, she just have like a baby. Girl comes, she's just got it going on. She ages like a fine wine. But I think people forget how good Becky Lynch is. Like, not just in the ring, but this girl is top 5 all time. She's top 5 in the ring, and she's top 5 on the mic. There's not many people who cut better promos than Becky Lynch right now in this day and age. Like, watch her cut a promo and watch Mercedes Money cut a promo, who's also considered the top greatest of all time. Like, watch the differences. Becky I feel like she just delivers it, and she's going to make her bestie, Lyra Valkyria, in real life, a star. I think Lyra getting the better edge, although Lyra did get the comeuppance, so I guess we'll get into that with predictions. But nonetheless, I think Becky Lynch is doing this the better. I know people call Becky Lynch the Hogan, just like Charlotte, where she comes. What they call Becky Hogan, because she always comes and wins. But then she jobs and elevates somebody, which she did to Valkyria, right? Wasn't Lyra the one that she did that to with the NXT? Took it and then gave it to her, and and let her win it. So, but I thought it was
Tiffany Stratton. Yeah,
she beat Tiffany and then lost to Lyra, and then gave it to Lyra. But Becky's just that girl, and that was Lyra's best promo she ever cut. She did a really, really good job. She got the upper hand. I thought everything about it was good. I thought this was the highlight of Monday Night Raw. I enjoyed it a lot. Just like the women on SmackDown, this was the highlight of my opinion of Raw. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and I think I think that's one of the first times I've heard anybody say that they're excited about a women's Intercontinental Championship match.
Yep.
At a PLE, and because we've been excited about the women's U.S. title, we've been excited about the women's championships, but the tag team titles we've been excited about, but never the IC. So I feel like now they're really putting a focus on that, and a lot of that's because of the star power that Becky Lynch brings. So I'm excited about it. I thought the promo was good. I like the fact that she referred to Bayley as garbage, and she kept reiterating the fact that it was like, you don't thank me for taking out, you don't say, oh my god, well, I can't believe you took out the garbage. You say thank you for taking out the garbage.
So good.
Then she called Lyra Valkyria recycling because she's basically stealing everything that she's done. And Lyra gave it right back to her with like, yeah, you're the first woman to main event WrestleMania, and you pioneer for the wrestling business. But who's the first IC champion? Was it you? No, it was me. Like, so it was good stuff all around, and it was the best promo I've heard from Lyra, and I'm excited about their match. I can't wait for it. So maybe Triple H made the right decision pulling Bayley out of that match, as much as I hated it at the time. In the grand scheme of things, they're telling a good story with it.
Especially if it leads to Bayley beating Becky Lynch, which it seems like it's going to. So I like it as well. Really good stuff. All right, let's get into some NXT, my friend. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
And we're going to start off with sort of a surprise, right? We had let's start off with the Battle Royal, because that's the important part. So they had a Battle Royal, and Miles Bourne won it. He's the number 1 contender.
I thought you were going to talk about the return of Elijah.
Oh, well, I was going to let you talk about that, but Miles Bourne won. Things happened in the Battle Royal, but Miles Bourne winning was, I'm assuming most of the people who are listening to this podcast don't even know who he is or who he was before he won the Battle Royal. But what say you? You had some returns. I know you want to talk about it. Trick was in the Battle Royal, and Joe Hendry came out and so on. So, yeah.
Got eliminated by Elijah. Yes, sir.
That's what I was waiting for you to
Star-making moment. Yep, it's happening. Yeah,
You were like, he's gonna win.
I thought the placement of the battle royal. I feel like they should have closed the show with it.
100%.
Because it was like it was a long ass battle royal, which is great. But then like it was over and they still had like 35 minutes of the show left.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, like what are we gonna do the rest? I forgot about the women's number one contender match that they had to close the show. But I feel like they should have switched it. But yeah, I mean, it was a surprise. I don't think anybody had Miles Bourne winning the NXT Battle Royal on their bingo card this year. I thought for sure that maybe Ethan Page would win it, or maybe Sean Spears wins it, or even like somebody like Stax, who's feuding with D'Angelo right now. Like maybe he wins it, or somebody else makes a return and they win it. But like I don't know if they made the right decision. I mean, I feel like I guess it was a great moment for the No Quarter Catch crew and everything, but he's not going to win. So it's like kind of like, what's the point of this? Like I don't know. Like I don't think he has a chance in hell of winning against Overfin. So.
No, and I think that's why he won, to be honest, because I think Ethan Page taking another L, Sean Spears taking another L. They weren't going to have Trick wrestle him again because Trick's feuding with Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry cost them his match, which Trick tried to do with Joe and it failed. Well, he beat him up afterwards. But I think that's the main reason, right? Obviously, someone sees something in him. Obviously, Sean thinks has a potential. So why not throw him in? And they did that. My only thing about Miles Bourne is be careful what you wish for, because the last guy who came out of nowhere to get a title shot is now in the unemployment line.
Yeah, true that. Eddie Thorpe.
So yeah,
that's a good point.
So watch out, Miles Bourne.
The only other thing I didn't like about this too, like, can we let Miles Bourne have his moment? Like, can he get the match? Because afterwards they showed Obafemi come up to him and congratulate him on the victory. And was like, "Oh, you're not my first choice." And then Charlie Dempsey was trying to take the match away from him, like, "Oh no, you're not fighting. I'm fighting him." And it was like, no, like Miles Bourne, I won the battle royal. Now it looks like I think Charlie Dempsey says he's going to fight Obafemi next week, and if he he wins or something, he could be added to the match. Like, why are we doing this? Like, let it be a one-on-one match. I mean, I get you want to get the advantage and have 2-on-1, and I get that, but I don't know. I feel like they kind of ruined what should have been a huge moment for Miles Bourne.
I agree. It's probably going to be his biggest moment for a while. He also threw Charlie under the bus. It was like, didn't you say you were going to throw that ragdoll that dude or something like that?
Yeah.
Or he called him out, and that's what started it. So already bum, bum, bum. But with that said, the other big thing that happened was that we are getting Trick Williams versus Joe Hendry for the TNA World Championship at the next NXT PLE. What say you, my friend?
I don't mind it, but I also don't like it. I don't know. I'm still iffy about, we talked last week about NXT titles being defended on Raw and SmackDown, and they need to be specific to NXT. But I understand that WWE has this partnership, and we've had the NXT titles and the North American Championships defended on TNA, so in the tag team titles. So it's only fair that we get a TNA match on NXT programming as well. So I don't hate it. I'm just not the biggest fan of the idea. But I think the story they're telling is great. I think that, like Trick is still getting, it's really confusing. Like, is he a babyface right now? Is he a heel? He's kind of leaning more heelish, but the fans are still cheering for him. So they were chanting "Whoop that Trick" in the Battle Royal and everything. But then Joe Hendry came out and his pop was so much louder. So the story they're telling, I dig the match. I like the match, and I really hope Trick Williams wins. I think that would be icing on the cake and a fantastic, and then he officially turns heel with that and goes to TNA and gets massive heat. I would love that, but we'll see what happens. But right now, I'm not a fan of titles on other shows and all that. Like, I feel like we should be focusing on the NXT titles and everything, but I don't hate the way they're going about it.
Yeah, I think it's just, once again, why couldn't Trick go to TNA and fight Joe Hendry at their pay-per-view? So that's the only thing I kind of find weird about it. But I mean, it pretty much says that Joe Hendry is going to get a huge win against Trick Williams, but Trick Williams taking another L isn't really doing it for me. I don't see Trick winning that match. I really don't, but maybe as we get closer, I'll change my opinion. But big deal for, I think, for Joe Hendry. I think this moment will be bigger for him than WrestleMania was.
hope
So,
so.
losing and jobbing to I think this will be a bigger deal, in my opinion. So, yeah,
Yeah.
good stuff. And Trick's good, man. Trick will make him look good as well. Something that Joe Hendry needs.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
sure.
Yeah, that's the weekend review for a jam-packed Backlash that me and you didn't even know was this Saturday. I had no idea. I was like, listen, watching Raw, and somebody was like, oh, yeah, Backlash this Saturday. I'm like, oh, shoot, this Saturday? It's already like here, man. I didn't even get there. But yeah, man, we are ready to give our predictions. It's like so easy that I think it's going to be hard, that you have to have a surprise. Let's see what happens when we get into it, but I know we got some music, so play
Yes,
our
sir.
boy.
It's prediction time. Before it ever happens, it's a prediction. Lean in close, take notes, listen. Cause they about to point it out quickly. All the things that you didn't see is getting called like plays at the line of scrimmage. You can take it to the bank, the dudes ain't tripping. They've been seeing what's coming for a good minute. It's prediction time, yeah, let's get it.
All right, let's see. We got 5 matches, predictions. One of them I haven't even decided on yet, so I'm going to do it right now. What do we got first?
All right. So, wrong button. There we go. We're going to.
Woo!
Yeah, I don't know if this is opening the show. This is in no particular order.
No
whatsoever.
particular. All right.
But
all right.
Yeah.
Yep. So we got my doppelganger, Dominic Mysterio, Daddy Dom, Dirty Dom, whatever you want to call him, versus Penta, the brother of the guy who can't win matches for the IC title.
Respect the lucha.
Respect. Who do you got winning?
I could see, like we were saying earlier, I could see Finn Balor costing Dom the match and giving the title to Penta, and that's what sets Finn Balor versus Dominic up as we go forward into the summer months. But I also feel like Finn versus Dom needs to be for the IC title. So I think somehow, some way, Dominic's going to retain, and Penta's going to take the L.
Yeah, Dom's got it. Dom's a star, and Penta doesn't need the title. He'll be just fine without it. Dom is killing it right now, and him having that IC title looks damn good. I don't think they're going to have him lose it while Liv's not around. And also, AJ and Finn are about to wrestle, so I don't see why he would cost them and then wrestle AJ still. It doesn't make any sense because they're not having the match at Backlash. So I'm going to go with Dom, and I think Finn will help him. I think the WWE is going to start manipulating us to think that Finn and him aren't breaking up, which they should have been doing instead of making it blatantly obvious. But I think Finn's going to help him win and retain the title.
We'll see. Yeah, so, it'll be interesting. Yeah.
But I got Dom winning. With it. 100%.
We'll go the other mid-card title on the men's side.
All right. It's okay when it's in a 4-way. We got Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre versus LA Knight. Yeah. Versus one Damian Priest for the United States Men's Championship. Who do you got and who gets pinned?
I'm going Jacob Fatu retains and Damian Priest takes the pin.
Oh, take that, fake Undertaker. All right. I hope Jacob Fatu not only wins, but I think this is a moment where he needs to just destroy these dudes. I would even be all for him stacking all 3 of them on top of each other and pinning them. But I think it's going to be LA Knight. Yeah, who's going to take the L here? Hopefully we don't continue. I'm assuming we're continuing with Drew and Damian because of it. Maybe they cancel each other out somehow. But yeah, Jacob Fatu. Yeah. Jacob Fatu has to win. I don't think there's any point for Solo costing him. I think him and Solo are just fine. They'll get there other ways than costing for the title. And him versus Solo for the title means more. So yeah, I got Solo pin in LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a good shout. I could see Drew and Damian Priest like fighting into the crowd or something, or going backstage, and they're not in the ring, and then Jacob just dominates LA Knight. But so that's a good shout.
Problem is, everybody can't defend their titles, right? There has to be a surprise in this dang thing. They're so easily predictable. What's next? All right, speaking of, so we have one Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Every match a title match except for one. Lyra got the upper hand. You know how I feel about upper hands. But Becky Lynch called out Bayley a lot. So who do you got? Who's winning this match?
You know what? I'm going to say you got to pay attention to what people say in their promos and everything. And everything they were saying on Raw was about history and, you're the first this in history, and I'm the first that in history, and we were talking about how Becky Lynch is the greatest of all time. She's gonna win. I think she's gonna win the women's IC title this time around. She'll lose it eventually to Lyra again. So she's gonna win the battle, but Lyra's gonna win the war. But Becky Lynch is gonna win the title and officially become the first ever women's Grand Slam champion in the WWE. So she's about to make history with this victory. So Becky Lynch wins, solidifies her name as the GOAT. And then Lyra will take it off of her either a month later or at SummerSlam or some other time, and it'll be a huge moment for Lyra to really help elevate her.
That's a good pick. And when Lyra got the upper hand, I was like, I have to go with Becky Lynch, right? I have to. But she brought up Bayley so much, but it doesn't mean Bayley has to cost her here. If what you're saying, she beats her and then faces her later, and then Bayley costs her, I can see that as well. I think Becky Lynch loves the Becky Hogan tweets and stuff. I think she wants that for that too.
Yeah,
you have to have one surprise, right? We have that. And I'm gonna go Becky Lynch. I have Lyra highlighted, but I'm gonna go Becky Lynch too. I think it's that's who I.
This title wasn't defended at WrestleMania. All the other titles were recently won at WrestleMania, so it's too soon to take them off. They got to do a surprise title change somehow. So I think they're gonna do it. I think Becky Lynch needs the championship right now, and I think she wins.
She was also the first ever 2-belt champion and so on. So, why not? All right. I know what we got next, a match that nobody cares about. One Pat McAfee, a former NFL punter, versus one Gunther, a former world champion and longest reigning IC champion of all time. And they're wrestling for no reason. Who do you got?
There's only one answer, and it's got to be Gunther. And I think Gunther is going to manhandle Pat McAfee. He's going to use this to get his confidence back. It's going to be like when, comparing it to college football, when like a major school plays like a Division III school on the first week of the season and they blow them out 77-6 or something. That's how this is going to be. It's going to be, Pat McAfee's getting his ass kicked. And maybe somebody comes out to help Pat McAfee and we set up a new rivalry that way. Maybe Goldberg comes out and costs Gunther. I could see that too. But I think realistically, Gunther's walking out of Backlash pretty much with no offense in from Pat McAfee. He's going to just mollywop him.
So that's what I'm really, really hoping is going to happen. I don't want to believe in any of the media because I don't, or people on TikTok who think they know what they're talking about with this whole, like, it's to build Goldberg up. Because if they're building Goldberg up, I don't see why.
Pat McAfee.
And that's what I mean. So why would he come save him or come to his rescue? So this was the one I hadn't picked yet. I wasn't sure, but if I'm going to go with the surprise of Becky, they're not going to double surprise. Yeah, I think Gunther in a like Brock Lesnar, John Cena, SummerSlam type of match where he's just going to like completely, the only offense he'll get in is like one drop kick off like the top rope or something, and then Gunther will just rebound and just maul him. That's how it should be. There's no reason why Pat McAfee should have any closeness to this match. Yeah, none.
And if it does, it's really going to hurt Gunther. So it's got to be a domination, 100% domination from Gunther.
All right, I agree. All right, let's get into it. The main event, what everyone's been waiting for. Oh, one last time. Never mind. I don't even have to do predictions. That's the end of the show. All right, we got one I don't smile John Cena versus one Randall Legend Killer Orton for the undisputed WWE Championship. It's no longer, there's no Universal anymore. Who do you got? They got rid of that, yeah.
I am going with, lost my picture. I'm going with John Cena. I think it's a matter of how he wins, not if he wins. I could see Travis Scott coming out again. And
oh my gosh.
Orton. I could see Cody Rhodes coming out and finally turning heel, which everybody seems to want, and helping John Cena.
Not happening.
But I could see John. I think the most realistic scenario is John Cena somehow cheats in low blows Randy Orton or something, and he wins the title that way. Or he just, he wants to ruin wrestling. That's his characters, because he had the bad match on purpose at WrestleMania, because that's what he does. So this time, like he comes out and the match is like 5 seconds long and just kicks Randy in the ding ding and gets disqualified, and he still retains the title. I could see them doing something like that.
The finger poke of doom. You're like, just.
But he kicks him he low blows him right away. The ref rings the bell and he's disqualified, so he still keeps the title. So Randy wins, but he still keeps the title. But either way, John Cena's walking out with the championship.
Yeah, he's got to cheat to win, right? Randy can't take a clean L here, but there's no way Randy's going to win. It's his hometown. You don't win in your hometown when you're in the WWE. It just is what it is. Don't believe me, ask Drew McIntyre. It's just how it works. John wins, and guess what? I don't care. So there you have it.
I'm not even convinced this match closes the show. This match may not main event. I don't know. I feel like it will because it is his main event. It is his hometown. But I don't feel like they've done enough for it to warrant the main event spot.
They are. John's going to be here on Friday.
Gunther and Pat McAfee could do it.
Dude, if Goldberg's coming back, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
All right. That was our Backlash predictions. You can take them to the bank. I think we were the same on all of them. So 5 for 5 on each other. That's good.
Yeah, it's a pretty predictable
good.
show for sure.
That's what I think, but I feel like the most predictable ones are the ones where stuff happens that they're not supposed to. Triple H loves messing with us. Yeah. All right, let's get into our weekly segment, and that is the LVD, MVD, the least valuable and most valuable dude or dudette of the week. Whoever we pick doesn't mean we don't like you or that we do like you. It just means you would book the best or book the worst. What say you, Ryan? You starting off with the least valuable of the week.
Yeah, I gotta go with Otis. My poor alpha male babe or Otis, and you know what? I'm gonna throw Tozawa in there as well. But I like how the WWE just did a major release on Friday of Braun Strowman, and then this week on Raw they're like, hey, we have two monsters going at it. We have Otis and Rusev. Here's a tale of the tape, and these guys are so similar in size and stature. I would have believed it if it was Braun Strowman, but I didn't think Otis stood a chance. And then Otis didn't stand a chance. He got mollywopped, and he was in that the clutch or whatever that Rusev has, whatever the submission is, and he wouldn't let go. And then Tozawa came in and stood up. Valiantly stood up for his friend. And then he turned his back on Rusev, and Rusev put him in it as well. So I'm going to go Otis and Tozawa, LVDs of the week. Just, I'm not really feeling this whole thing with Rusev. I feel like hopefully, like Aleister and The Miz, hopefully this is a one and done, and he kind of moves on to other things. But I don't know. I don't really see a place for him right now on Monday Night Raw either. So, but Otis takes my LVD of the week this week for sure.
Yeah, good pick. I'm going a different route. I'm going with one Austin Theory, the
That's
most
a good one too. Yeah.
Underrated, underutilized wrestler in the world. This dude barely gets screen time, and when he does, he's losing. And guess who he loses to? A returning I didn't even know Sheamus was on. I had no idea Sheamus even wrestled anymore. And he comes out and just mollywops him. And then Theory and Grayson Waller bicker supposedly because Michael Cole says it, and then they're like, oh, we're not showing it. Okay, we'll cut back to it later. And they never do. So he even had a moment where he's trying to build a possible feud with his partner. They don't even air it. That's the biggest L.
Yeah.
You're losing to a Sheamus that people don't even know or still. I thought he got cut as well in WWE. Dude, and I love Sheamus. The dude just is randomly there. I haven't seen him in who knows how long.
And that's the thing.
And he beats Theory.
He'll be gone next week. And, we'll see him in 6 more weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the warlord of WWE. It's just weird stuff, weird booking. Poor Austin Theory, man.
Yeah, I completely forgot that whole thing even happened. So yeah, that's a good pick. 100%. That tells you right there that he should be the LVD because that was completely forgettable. Everything.
When we talked about it beforehand, I was like, oh, we have the same one. But we didn't. We had two different ones for the same reason. But I just love Michael Cole with they're bickering. I think they're good. Never mind. We'll go to it later. It was like, no, you're not.
No.
we are not going back to it later.
And they never did. Yeah. And can we break them up already? Can we
oh my God.
Can we stop with these tag teams feud bickering all the time? Even the Judgment Day. Let's make something happen already. Let's have them break up. Can we stop with this constant teasing of dissension? The Jacob and Solo, the same thing. Just stop. Just break them up or have something happen.
Yeah, some stories don't have to cook that long. All right, MVD, always ending on a positive. Who's your most valuable dude or dudette of the week? I
think there's only one option, and it's none other than Paul Heyman himself with that promo that he cut on Monday Night Raw. That promo, man, Paul Heyman's always gold on the mic. The promo itself was not surprising, but it's been a long time since we've seen like a passionate Paul Heyman like that. I mean, he was fired up. He was mad.
Yes, he
was angry. He got heel heat. Like that's the first time that the Seth Rollins group has gotten any sort of heat, and it's because of freaking Paul Heyman. And you know, everything he said in the promo made complete sense as to why he turned on CM Punk and why he turned on Roman Reigns, especially the stuff about Roman Reigns and how he didn't blame Jey Uso for doing it, but Jey Uso shouldn't get to lecture him for betraying the bloodline when he betrayed everything about it was great stuff. And you could tell you could see the passion in Paul Heyman's voice. You could hear it. You could tell that it meant a lot to him. And yeah, it was just probably, when we do promo of the year, I don't know if this will win promo of the year, but it should be up there. This is one of the best promos I've heard in a long time, and I got to give it to old Paul Heyman, the wise man. And that made me excited about whatever happens with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, great pick. And there was two great, like he cut a phenomenal promo, as you're saying, and Becky Lynch did. It was a good night of promos for Monday Night Raw. I'm going a different
47 minutes of wrestling, though, so we got to stop that.
Was that the time right now, 47?
I don't know. Yeah, people run with anything these days.
All right, well, I'll check out Eyes later and see what he said. But mine is a different approach. I'm not going Paul Heyman, actually. I thought there was really only one obvious, and that's one Miles Bourne. This guy, no one even knew who he was 2 days ago, and now all of a sudden he's won a battle royal and he's facing off against Obafemi for the World Heavyweight Championship. If you're not going to tell me that's the most valuable, I don't know what is. This dude literally is doing something he didn't even he probably went into NXT like, I'm in the battle royal, that's fun. Oh, and I'm winning it? Oh, fantastic. Like, that's a win. That's an MVD right there. Good for him, even though he kind of got ignored afterwards. But yeah, nonetheless, good on him to get that win. And let's see let's hopefully he doesn't have the same fate as one Eddie Thorpe, because I'm still confused on that firing that he was just a few weeks ago facing the title out of nowhere, and then they just got rid of him.
They fired people that were on TV last week. Like half of Metaphor was gone, and they were on there. They were like, "Oh, Metaphor forever," and then they fired them.
They did. Well. That's right. Maybe Forever 21. Yeah, but you ain't here, homie.
Yeah, and like people that wrestled at Stand and Deliver, they fired them. So it was just really strange choice of people to cut. But yeah, Miles Bourne, that's a good pick. The reason why I didn't pick him over Paul Heyman is because I don't think Miles Bourne is dethroning Obafemi, but the moment itself was a great moment, and nobody saw it coming. And yeah, that's a solid pick for sure.
And you can't take that away from him. So this moment will last forever. All right, y'all. That was our WWE Weekend Review. And believe it or not, tune back in if you watch AEW as well, because we will have our AEW episode popping up on Friday. We are doing it. All things Collision and Dynamite. We got to get back on that AEW thing. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, listening to us, appreciating us. Hopefully you guys share our podcast as well. We're trying to get out there. Don't forget to give those 5-star reviews and to subscribe. And as always, if you just want to hear me yap it off, I'm on all social media outlets you can find at my_wrestling_opinion. And with me, as always, is my brother from another mother.
At Ryan Enjoys Wrestling. Go follow me on all the social media platforms as well. And then go follow us on TikTok at 2 Dudes with Attitudes. We're on X at 2 Dudes PC. And go subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we're starting to make some traction yet again with views and everything and engagement. So go follow us over there and subscribe at 2 Dudes with Attitudes on there. And then if you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, we appreciate all the love and support. Go drop us a 5-star rating and review, and tell everyone about your favorite 2 dudes on the internet.
2 Dudes Wolfpack, we out.
2 dudes with attitudes, let's go. It's the 2 dudes and our attitudes, ruthless, aggressively speaking, so let's do this. We're Ryan and Denton, they here to get your attention. The 5-star broadcast shit, start to the ending. Whether it's the E or it's all E, the 2 dudes with the attitudes that bring the heat. Get the point, yeah, it's on time.